This is Joe Garber. I'm here with 6th Ward candidate Rod Robison. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me in.
First off, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 54 years old. I graduated from Hickman High School in 1973. I've got 2 grown children who both teach in the Columbia Public Schools. I've got a beautiful grandbaby who's almost 2. I've been married to my wife Susie for 33 years now, and we live over on Shepherd Boulevard. And I work for a Reback Supply Company, a plumbing wholesale company, and it gives me the chance to travel around the state and enjoy that working there very much.
And how did you get involved in the race?
It started probably last summer. Some issues came up with a trail in our neighborhood. There was a nature trail going down Hingston Creek. It was going to get very close to our neighborhood. I know myself and a lot of our neighbors were really looking forward to having that access to get on the trail in our neighborhood and go down through the Grindstone nature area and then hook onto to the main trail through the city. And we were all really looking forward to it, and it didn't happen. And a lot of our neighbors were disappointed as I was. And, it kind of got me going to a few meetings. We had a couple of the focus group meetings and talked about some of the things. And I really started getting the feeling that my views weren't being represented in the city council. And in talking to some of my neighbors, they felt the same way, which kind of got me thinking about it. And one thing led to another, and here I am.
So now that you're running, what do you see as the major issues facing Columbia?
Well, Joe, I'd have to say that the #1 issue I think facing Columbia is the economy. I think Columbia has got such has been somewhat insulated from some of the downturns in the economy of the past since I've been here, and I don't think we're going to be quite as lucky with this one. We're already seeing the effects of that. I think the only thing we can do is try to stimulate more jobs in Columbia, bring some more industry, some more businesses to Columbia, to try to counteract some of the things that we've lost. I mean, some of the light industry around Columbia was related to the automobile industry, and there's not much we can do about that. We've lost some of those, I'm afraid, at least for the time being. So I think my thought is we've got to be a little more aggressive. We've got to be more welcoming to companies, businesses that want to come to Columbia, and I think that's a problem I see right now. Is I don't think Columbia is doing everything it can do to try to bring these people in, and that's something that I would hope to change if I get on the city council.
Any ideas of how to bring those businesses in?
Well, the specifics of actually drawing them in, I don't know. But I think what we can do when we can make Columbia more inviting. When companies and businesses do show an interest in coming to Columbia, I think we can be just much more welcoming. I think there's some good businesses that have come and looked at Columbia, and I think when they see some of the hurdles that they have to jump and all the things they have to do to try to get their businesses started here, I think they've gone other places. We've seen some that have gone to Fulton or gone to Jeff City or moved to Sedalia, somewhere where they met with less instruction. And I think that's something we just have to do. We have to make ourselves more inviting so companies want to come here. Columbia's got so many things going for it. With the university and all the businesses in the industry that can spin off of the university. I was at a forum at Columbia Chamber of Commerce earlier this week, Growing Our Economy. And they went through some of it was mostly related to the healthcare industry. But they were talking about all the innovations and the ideas that have come out of the university and the university research. And then they talk about how you take those ideas and those innovations, turn it into a product, and then turn that product into a business. And so it's a cooperative effort between the university and the city. And that's the incubator that they've developed over there to take those ideas. And there's already some great products that are out on the market, and it brings a lot of income, a lot of revenues to the city. So we've got to grow more of those. So we're growing from within, and at the same time we're welcoming companies. There are these national companies that are looking for a place to land. We've got to make ourselves more inviting to those businesses.
Now, I know you talked about this with me earlier before the interview, and this might also help to bring in businesses, but another issue facing the city is crime. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, exactly. I think next to next to the economy, I think when I talk to people in some of the neighborhoods and talking about what's going on and what's important to the people that are out there, I think crime is probably the second thing that comes up after the economy. The latest crime statistics came out, and it was a little confusing. It was a little kind of a mixed bag. They were saying that violent crime is down, which is great, but the property crimes are way up. So it was kind of a mixed blessing there. I think what we've got to do, take a look at the city of Columbia. I think the police department has done a great job. Acting Chief Dresner has done a fantastic job during the time he's been in there. The Columbia Police are doing a great job with what they've got. We've got to fully support them. We've got to make sure they have enough manpower. Just recently they had the big arrest where they arrested, I think, 16 members of gangs that are involved in all types of illegal activities and selling drugs, and they did a great job, got those guys off the street, which is great. I think we've got it's sort of a two-prong approach. The ones that have already decided to become criminals and join gangs and are selling drugs, we got to get out there and get them arrested, get them prosecuted, get them off the streets. But at the same time, I think as a community, we've got to look at how did those kids end up in that position. Most of them are young. They're barely finishing high school at this point where they should be, or maybe starting college or something, or getting jobs. But for whatever reason, they chose to take this lifestyle. So I think we have to go back, whether high school, junior high, middle school, and find out what happened to these kids, where they went, where they made that turn and decided to, follow a life of crime instead of something more productive. So I think we've got to get in there and figure out, one, take care of the ones that have already made that decision, get them off the streets, and then go back and try to maybe save the younger ones that haven't completely gone that path yet.